Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. Good morning, evening, or afternoon, no matter what corner of the world you happen to call home. Thank you for making us a part of your broadcast day. I'm Aaron AC Chambers, live for this inaugural edition of the American Dota League, the ADL. The North and South American Dota teams getting a little love for once. Going to be a two and a half, something like that, month stretch as we get underway here with our very first broadcast, pushing all the way through to the playoffs that are going to be in early July, if I have the schedule correct. And really looking forward to this. And again, want to thank each and every one of you for being here early on. Really am excited to get to know a lot more teams in the North American and South American scene, and really excited to see some excellent Dota here out of North and South America. Again, I'm AC, joined by Beatus of EG fame. Beatus, my friend, are you there? And if you are, how you doing?
I'm here. I'm doing pretty well.
Good. All right, so, looking at the teams here, and I think this will be the case for many viewers who are tuning in. Artyk and Denial Esports, not the biggest names, at least not yet, but hey, we all start somewhere. Artyk, a Peruvian squad, that's about the extent of what I know of them, and Denial Esports, a North American team who is trying to make their mark. Do you happen to know any of these players or either of these teams?
As far as Artyk goes, I've played against a bunch of their players numerous times in team matchmaking. And I know they draft a lot of different lineups. You know, they can go with Chen push strats, featuring some wars with Beastmaster and Joe Ranger, from what I've seen. And they can also run more standard lineups. You know, Turtles with Coddle, PL, and such.
Right.
They're a diverse team that likes to run different strategies depending on their opponents. And for Denial Esports, I used to watch them a while back when they're still an up-and-coming North American team now. We used to watch them a while back when they were known as Eosin +4.
Right.
And Eosin, who's done some casting with the Beyond the Summit studio,
Right.
He plays a lot of Syllabair.
Yeah. Yeah, Eosin's the one name that really stands out that I happen to know. And again, he's done some casting with Beyond the Summit. I knew he was a carry type of guy, and of course ESN +4 had some success. They had a couple of wins. I want to say in the group stage of Star Ladder and in the group stage of the Defense is where they kind of made their mark. They didn't quite make it deep enough to turn a lot of heads, but nonetheless proved that they can compete. And that's something that's really going to be fun here. And one of the reasons I was so drawn to this tournament and why I think it's such an excellent tournament, especially for this geographic region, is the fact that you're going to have the three big names in North American Dota, Dignitas, Evil Geniuses, and Team Liquid. And then you're going to have 5 more teams that have a chance to test themselves over a number of weeks, over and over and over again, against some of the best competition on the planet. So obviously enjoying your insight. You will be here with me for the first and third game, if I'm not mistaken. Second game, you're in action, actually. You play Artyk coming up following this game, right?
Yep, it's always nice to be able to scout out an opponent, especially if they're a little bit unknown, like Artyk is.
No doubt about it. So the picks and bans moving a little bit slowly here, but that's okay. Pretty typical stuff on both sides. The Bat, the Nick's not going to be joining us. No Wisp and no Lifestealer, courtesy of Denial Esports. Going to go ahead and pick up the Darkseer. Now, Darkseer is a hero that, depending on the team, is still in that very top-tier bracket of heroes that will be drafted out very early. But the days of the immediate first-pick Darkseer have really come and gone now. And, I mean, you'll see him making it even through to the second ban phase a lot of times. Very rarely will he go completely undrafted or unbanned, but even that happens from time to time. Why do you think that is? Why has the DS, after more than a year of being first pick, first ban, where they finally started to see his popularity wane a little bit?
Just the strength of other heroes. Like, if you look at the 4 banned heroes in Batrider, Nyx,
right,
Wisp, or IO, and Nyx, and you also look at Magnus, who isn't banned, Syllabair, those are heroes that are really come into their own. People have gotten extremely adept at playing them, and they just kind of outshine Darkseer right now.
Shadow Demon going to be picked up by Artyk. Love Shadow Demon, and in my opinion, and you play a lot of Shadow Demon, so you'll certainly have plenty of insight there. Shadow Demon, in my opinion, is the best all-around hero in the game. I mean, you can talk about heroes like Magnus, and there's always some difference of opinion there. There's still some teams that first pick a Magnus every time, and there are teams who just don't care that much about a Magnus. Will let him go completely through the draft without giving him a lot of attention. Artyk will follow the Shadow Demon up with the Lone Druid, so 2 very strong picks. But Shadow Demon, just one of those heroes that never gets bad. He's great in the laning phase. He gives you so very much at level 1, and he hard counters most of the heroes everyone hates. Like, especially if you're a pub player, hard counters a Lifestealer, hard counters a Phantom Lancer. Well, not hard counters, but darn near, about as close as you can anyway. And, Shadow Demon, is that a hero that you expect to see continuing in popularity, or is he a flavor of the month type?
He's always going to be a really popular hero. If you look back to late last year, around DreamHack wintertime, he started to win a little bit. People just weren't really into picking Shadow Demon as their support. There were other options, like
right.
I believe it was Brubik, and there was a lot of Leshrac picked up back then. And Shadow Demon just wasn't really there. And I know that we picked him a lot at DreamHack Winter, and then a lot of other teams just started seeing, hey, we forgot about Shadow Demon. He's a really amazing support. He just has picked up a lot since then. He's going to continue being picked up a lot all the way through TI3, unless just changes made to him. Because, like you said, he's good early game, good mid game, great late game as a support.
Absolutely. And what surprises me, and, I guess I shouldn't say surprises me, just gauging community opinion from levels, top tier level all the way down to bottom tier level. And I don't mean that in the pejorative, newer players, we'll put it that way. And he's just very often overlooked in the low and mid tiers for how valuable he is, especially with Lifestealer being as popular as he is now. I mean, Lifestealer, pretty much a ubiquitous first pick, first ban now, as he moved into that role quite a while ago. And Shadow Demon just shuts him down completely, makes it impossible to engage reliably off of open wounds. Demonic Purge slows him down, which is the bugaboo of a Lifestealer. Lifestealer, the kind of hero who wants to just get in close, focus down one target, blow them up, then get out until Rage is back off cooldown. But anyway, enough elucidation on our thoughts on. I think we can high five on that. Shadow Demon, awesome support, my favorite support in the game. But Magnus going to be the last pickup from Artyk. I really like Artyk's look already. It's a very well-rounded lineup. They have good late game with the Lone Druid. Shadow Demon, one of the best supports, as we've just spent a copious amount of time discussing. And Magnus going to give them. I think the reason Magnus is so well liked among so many teams isn't just because of his offensive potential, but even the point of how defensive that hero is. It is so hard to crack tier 2 towers, even if you're way ahead in the mid game, when there's a Magnus on the other side with a blink dagger.
Tier 2 towers aren't necessarily that hard always. It's more so cracking the base of a Magnus. Especially once he has Blink BKB or a Refresher up. He's just an absolute terror. You'll always have to worry about having the perfect positioning, splitting up, not letting him get that big RP that he wants.
Right.
One thing I want to touch on is how awkward this Bane pick looks to me. I know what Denial Esports was thinking of Bane. They wanted against the Lone Druid. If you get Enfeeble skilled up to rank 4, you can diminish a lot of the damage that bear is going to do to towers. But at the same time, Fiend's Grip, it's so easy for Shadow to sit back in fights, wait until Bane casts Fiend's Grip on someone, and then just disrupt that target.
Right.
Instantly cancels the Fiend's Grip. So I think they kind of countered themselves a little bit with that Bane pick. And another they want to touch on with Denial's lineup is they first pick Darkseer. When I see that, you usually see a lot of AoE teamfight backing up the Darkseer, especially as the first pick. Heroes like THD are amazing supports with a Darkseer because you can just Ice Path and vacuum them right in. Their whole team's disabled, or whoever was hit by the vacuum's disabled.
Right.
And other heroes like Puck and Gyrocopter were definite options that they could have gone with. Instead, they pick up a Ban and Coddle. So I'm a little bit confused by Denial's draft, but we'll see what they're going for.
Well, I mean, looking at the front two, and this is something that I think characterizes teams that are, working their way up, not by any stretch of the imagination when I call any teams in this tournament bad, just teams that are learning. And I'm sure you had some experience with this. There are sometimes you get caught up in drafting heroes because of their perceived inherent value. The Keeper of the Light's a good example of that. Keeper of the Light, still very highly valued, not quite as much as he was a few weeks ago. But at the same time, a hero that most teams really place a big onus on. Maybe not enough to put him through in the first ban phase, but enough to want to pick him early. You see the Darkseer come out first, like you said. So many other heroes. Even the Magnus. They could have just picked a Magnus. Magnus Darkseer tends to work really, really well. Then there's a number of AoE-centric heroes that you can pair up with, some of which you already touched on, including like a Gyrocopter. I love a Darkseer Gyrocopter combination just because you can take fights that seem to be lost, and with one well-placed vacuum into a call down, everything turns around in the mid-game. But instead, I think maybe taking a couple of heroes in the DS and the Keeper more for their perceived value than the Bane to try to counter the Lone Druid. But as you said, Shadow Demon already a pretty good answer to that. But the second ban phase is complete. We've got Phantom Lancer, Anti-Mage, and Weaver taken out by Artyk, just wanting to make sure they have the biggest, baddest carry in the late game on the map with that Lone Druid. And Denial, going to take out the Nature's Prophet, Juggernaut, and Jakiro, so making sure that Artyk doesn't get any more mid-game punch than they already happen to have. Gyrocopter still available. Gyro might be a decent pickup here for Artyk if they want to run a 2-carry strat.
Yeah, but it's also still a good pickup for Denial.
Yep.
As far as these bans go in the second phase, Denial's really afraid of more push coming out of Artyk. Really common strategy with Lone Druid that started, I want to say, at G League finals with those LGD Int running it against IG was the Lone Druid and Juggernaut push strat.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really powerful at all phases in the game, and Denial just doesn't want to deal with that. Furion is a very versatile hero that can go offlane. Instead of just sitting in the offlane, he can go jungle, which is what they're probably planning on their Darkseer doing. Mm-hmm. Unless Artyk aggressive challenges them, which I doubt is going to happen. So they just don't want to give them an offlaner that also has the versatility of jungling while also adding more to the push. So Furion was a good ban coming out there. And THD is amazing when combined with the Magnus. It's so easy to follow up with Ice Path and multiple heroes after an RP hits.
Oh, yeah. Well, Denial does pick up that Gyrocopter, so they will nonetheless get the Darkseer Gyrocopter combination, and they're going to have a ton of damage output if they can land their abilities in synergy. Speaking of push, Chen going to go ahead and be adding his services on the side of Artyk, so it will be a fairly push-oriented strategy coming out from them. But Darkseer, Vacuum, and to call down them with Keeper of the Light if he's well-positioned for his Illuminate. That's a hell of a lot of damage to cope with, and the one thing that Denial does have going for them, again, a couple of questionable bans here and there, that Bane in particular, as you had already pointed out, but Artyk is now drafting a push lineup into a Keeper of the Light. That could be a little hit and miss sometimes.
It can be, but Chen Creeps and Lone Druid Bear are great at just brute force pushing.
Right.
You don't need a creep wave. As long as that backdoor protection is down on the tier 2 or tier 3, you do have the option of brute forcing if you are ahead. And the Puck pick coming out of Denial I thought was pretty obvious. After they picked Gyrocopter, you needed some kind of disable with the Darkseer, and Puck was the best one that was left with Dream Coil. For Artyk now, I kind of expect them to go with a Luna pickup. That'll make their 5-man push so much stronger, and wow, going with PA.
Looking for that secondary carry and not opting. Yeah, I agree. If it was going to be push-oriented, Luna with Lunar Blessing to add the bonus damage, which again is so very good, especially early on. The PA though, and Luna. Well, I mean with the Chen, it's not really the case, but Luna does give you the chance to take team fights a little bit earlier if you really want to. She can fight extremely well. Again with Lunar Blessing, Glaive certainly do the job as well. But just the fact that her ulti is as strong as it is, even just at level 1, so long as she is adequately leveled in terms of how she relates to the rest of the heroes on the map. But anyway, we are loaded in. Let's take a look through our lineup, see who's going to be handling who. On the side of Denial, going to have Rep playing on the Puck. We're going to have Eosin playing on the Gyrocopter. Darkseer will be handled by... I can't really read his name because he's moving, and that color doesn't scan well. Guanzo, there we go. We're going to have Chen playing on the Keeper of the Light, and Bane will be played by Ush. On the other side of the river, Shadow Demon going to be handled by MSTCO. Going to have Smash playing on the Magnus, very appropriately named for the hero. Going to have Matsuko playing on the Chen. Lone Druid will be handled by Mihawk this time around, and Phantom Lancer going to be played by Ewo. So, taking a look at the way these lanes are likely to shape up, Beat is. Give me a couple of sentences on both sides as to what the number one goal is going to be here in the early laning phase.
It's really just going to be maximizing farm. Neither team is really going to have an easy time ganking the mid lane, so both teams are going to be trying to maximize their farm. Aside from that, one thing I want to bring up is PA in this game. PA has to be extremely careful before he gets BKB, not to overextend himself. PA is a really good hero, and Loda specifically utilizes him insanely well due to the mobility that the hero has, and the ability to just kill supports at the start of fights. But if he overextends into a Fiend's Grip, if Shadow Demon's not there to disrupt him, he's going to be in trouble. And against a hero like Gyrocopter with Rocket Barrage, you also have a lot of magic damage coming out of a Puck and Coddle Blasts. He has to be super careful in these early fights.
I'm fairly convinced that I'm the only person on the planet that actually knows the name of Coddle Blast. I think I'm the only caster who calls it Illuminate. Everyone calls it Coddle Blast. It is Illuminate. That is the name of the spell. Get it right. And looks like we are going to have a quick pause. Well, we do have a chance. Once again, I'm going to welcome you in if you're just tuning in for the first edition, our very first game about to be put under our belt for the American Dota League. I'm Aaron A.C. Chambers, and we'll be here each and every day I can. Every day I can is every day it's scheduled because I am the lead broadcaster. Joining me today is Beatiz, Robert Tennis of EG fame. I'll drop all my social media knowledge, but while we have a minute, Beatiz, why don't you go ahead and tell folks where they can find out more about you?
You can find me over on Twitter at BeatisDota, and I also stream. I'm starting to stream a little bit more regularly now. I took a little bit of a break on Twitch at Beatis, or Twitch/Beatis, I should say.
There you go. I did get your last name right, didn't I?
Yep.
Okay, cool. But
One of the few that does that.
Once again, make sure you check Beatis out. The hard support player for EG, and one of my favorite players to watch. I'm not just saying that because you're here. I always enjoy watching you. That's what I play. Whenever I play with my buddies, for the longest time, I played nothing but carries as I taught my friends Dota and all that. But as they've gotten better, I actually enjoy the 4 and the 5 position. It lets me watch the map more and try to give what strategical knowledge I possibly can. I mean, do you enjoy the 5 position, or is that something you just kind of do because it's where you fit with this current lineup?
I enjoy supporting. Either 4 or 5, it doesn't really matter to me. Mm-hmm. I just like the role of support and being active, moving around the map, finding kills.
Yep.
And just creating space to give your carries the best opportunity to carry the game.
Yep, that's exactly how I've always felt. I can tell you right now, I've been casting Dota not nearly as long as some. I've been at it since March 2012. But if there's any one thing I can tell you that is a constant, it's that more games are won and lost by support play than by carry play. Every single tournament you watch, if you watch enough games, the supports are the ones who really, like you said, open up that space, who make things happen on the map, who control the pace and the flow of the game. And one good spell can win a game, one bad spell can win a game, or lose a game if you're out of position. So much love to all the support players across the planet. I want to go ahead and give a special howdy-do to the South American viewers who are in the channel here today. I'm not sure what the percentage happens to be. There's a number of great casters doing the ADL in other languages. I'm pretty sure Portuguese is being covered right now. I just met those guys. They were really, really nice. And hopefully they're pulling good numbers, because I feel like this is such an excellent thing for the scene in North and South America, just having a tournament that's all our own. And I'm trying to think how to phrase the question, Robert. It's how important comparatively. I mean, you're a guy who lives in a different phase of the scene than I do. I'm on the outside. I just talk about it. But as a player, how important are events like this to the development of the North American and South American scenes?
I think it's really important. It's like there's a lot of smaller North American only tournaments that go on, but the bigger name teams, us, Dignitas, and Team Liquid, don't really participate in them.
Yeah.
Tournaments like the Alienware Cups, the CEVO tournament and such, we just don't participate in them. But being able for these teams that are up and coming to play against us should help them out tremendously. So I know that when I was coming up in Dota, it was really, really useful for me to play in the SECs hosted by NA Dota, and play against the known players and just get better practice out of it.
There's going to be a disruption onto the Darkseer. Don't think they're going to be able to. Nope. Scoots by through the illusions. Thought they might.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
that was a good attempt. He was trying to body block and surround him. And the PA was coming up to try and kill him if that happened, but unfortunately just didn't get the block off.
Fairly quiet here early on. We can see Tri-Lane versus Tri-Lane. Shen doing his thing in the jungle down on bottom. Just going to be Eosin getting all the farm he could possibly want. Is a little bit nice to see. I mean, if you're in the shoes of Denial at the very least, being able to apply at least a little bit of harassment here to Ewo, just more so than any other offlane really can. And we can even see, the Shadow Demon being pursued out by Guanzo. But early on, to which hero would you say it's more important to have this free farm, the Gyro or the PA?
I think it's definitely more important for this Gyro to get off to a big start this game, because he's going to need a lot of items to be able to deal with this Artyk lineup. He definitely needs to get an MKB anytime that there's a PA on the map. And he's also got to worry about a decent amount of magic damage coming out. I mean, he doesn't want to get hit with an RP and skewered back, so he needs to get a BKB to deal with that.
Lonzo's in trouble up here. He's overextended and will be our first blood. It was actually a little goofy. I had the camera there the whole time. He came up, tried to do a little harassment. Then he started taking tower shots. As he fell back, he ate the stifling dagger and the disruption just as he surged. More than enough to get the job done. So well executed there out of Artyk. And the Darkseer, again, just playing aggressive as the Darkseer should. Just one step out of position that time around. Taking a look at the early last hit, 17 for the Gyro. He's on top, but PA with that early kill. Or did she get the kill or she get the assist? She got the assist. Still, quite nice. 16 CS for her, 15 for Chimp. That's obviously a little bloated here in mid. Pretty even between the mag and the puck. just 11-9. So still quite some time before we really start to see this game develop. Now back to this Chen, taking a look at Artyk. He's already 3.5, almost to level 4. Is this going to be one of those situations with that PA where you want to start coming out to take down this tier 1 sooner rather than later? Well, but it looks like that might be answered, as we already see Eosin and company beginning to put some pressure on the tier 1 bottom.
Hey, anytime you're against a Coddle, you want to try and get as many early towers as you can with a Chen.
Right.
One thing, just to backtrack a little bit, the Darkseer's overextension on top really surprised me. I was about to make note of how Chen needs to get over there and force Darkseer out into the jungle before Darkseer is level 4. Because once Darkseer is level 4, he can still potentially get away with Surge despite being against Disruption. But with Ranklin Surge, he's dead to rights.
It's a very nice disruption there, by the way, to save the Lone Druid from an Illuminate. So the Stecco making 2 big plays, one bigger than the other, but still nice to save the Lone Druid a little bit of trouble. Speaking of the Druid, he's short of level 2. Farm not spectacular, as you would imagine, sitting at just 3 CS. He actually was pulling creeps or trying to pull creeps with the bear, but it looks like they've managed that quite well.
Yeah, anytime he sends the bear to get creep aggro, Bane can just sleep his bear.
Right.
Then creeps will just go back to their natural path. And they did that on the first creep wave when he tried to pull it. And all Eosin and Gyrocopter had to do was tank the creep wave for a little bit. And then it's just natural creep equilibrium after that. Which is why Bear's getting shut down.
PA and Gyro still very, very close to each other. And we'll wait to see what item choices they want to go for here. Eosin with the Bassi already, he's got the circlet, so perhaps looking to complete an early Aqualay. Now, is this one of those situations? I mean, when I look at the team that Artyk has, it's a team that's going to want to fight early. They'll want to have the mag up with a very quick blink dagger, and that's one of the other things a mag is excellent at. Whenever you run a push-oriented lineup, part of pushing is so often finding a way to get behind the enemy's towers and force them off of the defensive position, especially when they have a Keeper of the Light on team. And Mag, pretty much none better at that, being able to just start a fight right in the shadow of an enemy tower with a big bang known as the reverse polarity. So when I look at that and I look at the Gyrocopter, is this a game where Eosin is going to opt to go pure defensive build, Aqualay drums, Aqualay drums, BKB, or is this possibly a game where he's going to start to build damage a little bit earlier just because he has to know the fight is going to be coming to his doorstep?
I think he definitely needs to get a BKB up this game and then follow it up pretty immediately with a MKB to be able to kill this PA.
Right.
It's a really, really important thing to get an MKB up early when you're against the PA. Otherwise, he's just going to have a lot of free reign.
Right. I'll have to wait and see. And that is very often with the Gyro. The item build's very, very player-specific. Hang on. There's a skewer, and the silence from Puck gives him time to run away. There was some help rotating, but Chen and Shadow Demon tardy to the party. And RCP able to make it away. Had an Invis rune anyway, so was most likely going to be safe.
Smash was trying to skewer to get to the rune, but you can still pick up a rune while you're skewered. So Puck put himself in a good position and was able to snag the rune.
6.5 minutes in, still a very, very quiet game. Have not seen a whole lot of movement here towards mid. I guess that's not really that surprising. Puck and Mag, two of the most notoriously difficult mids to gank out just because of the strength of Skewer in terms of an escape mechanism. And, of course, Puck, who is a hero predicated on the idea of bouncing around and being tough to lock down. And Smash, I love when players do that. Do it just to show them they mean business.
And that also puts a little fear in the Puck's heart. Like, he doesn't know what this Chen's doing.
Yep.
Chen could be coming around for a smoke gank, so he has to be a little bit scared here.
And the bear will be picked off, so free 100 gold. Going into the back pocket of Bane. Again, a very quiet game. Looks like we will have another quick pause. And, yeah, another quick pause, so I guess I'll plug myself this time. If you enjoy what you're seeing and what you're hearing, not only do I want you to hit follow here on the American Dota League, twitch.tv/American Dota League. Would love it if you'd follow me on Twitter as well. I'm at AC, at AYESEE. You can find me on the other various social networks, ACTV. Just do a search for that on Facebook, YouTube, so on and so forth. I'm not a hard guy to track down. I usually keep it pretty simple. So, from a player standpoint, and again, you will be taking on Artyk in our second game of the day. What are you already seeing? Is there anything you can glean that you might be able to apply to your upcoming match, or is it still a little too early?
It's still a little bit too early.
Yep.
I like what the Chen's doing here and just rushing straight for an early mech. Mm-hmm. He just hit level 6. He's making the most out of this slow early game. And as Chen, you're the one that controls the pace of the early game. Like if you want to be aggressive, if you have opportunities to be aggressive, you're the one that has to make that decision. And in this game, they don't really have a great opportunity. There's really no reason for him and Shadow Doom to try to smoke gank bottom lane,
Right.
or mid lane, sorry, or even top lane. It's just, why not farm up?
Speaking
And
of
he's
farming
doing a
up,
pretty good job of that.
taking a look at the PA, she's picked up her Helm of Iron Will. Would imagine that'll be going towards a Helm of the Dominator. Very good item for PA early on. Gets her a little bit of extra armor on top of the lifesteal. The lifesteal, with the way that coup de grace happens to work, certainly very, very strong. And, you know, that's something that, I won't say there's a lot of debate because PA is just not played enough for there, or at least in the professional realm at the top tier, for there to be a lot of debate around it. But so far as how you build her, I mean, it's, you know, going for the early Helm of the Dominator after phase boots. Phase are pretty ubiquitous. You almost always see that. Rarely will you see just something like straight up treads. But Helm of the Dominator is an option. Rushing an early Battle Fury is something you see very often if she wants to really farm hard. In your experience, hold that thought. Stifling Dagger on Guanzo will surge, and nice disruption right through the woods. Good block by Ewo. That's going to be another death on Guanzo. And really bad positioning. Here comes Chen just to make sure all was underway, but 2-0. A very quick lead out for Artyk Esports. But back to what I was saying. You know, in your opinion, having faced it a few times, I'm sure, what's the most difficult PA build to deal with from an opposition standpoint?
I really like Lotus build where he goes phase drum and Dominator early, then straight into a BKB.
Right.
He gets the early game sustainability that he needs to be able to farm. He doesn't go Battle Fury because you don't really need one on PA, to be honest. You can still farm up Ancient stacks, especially when you have a Magnus on your team, just from getting empowered.
Right.
But the biggest weakness to that hero is early game squishiness. If you get a drum up and you also have a Dominator up, whenever you crit, you're going to lifesteal a decent amount of HP. Plus, you'll be getting a BKB fairly early into the game, probably around the 25-minute mark or so.
Yep. And
that's just squishiness gone. You can tank through all of their spells with the Black King bar and just run around killing people.
Yep, I'm inclined to agree with you. That's oh wow, smash nothing that time. Just flat out whiffed on his RP. Really, I think he was trying to be cute and cancel it again. That's the only real explanation, because he was really nowhere near that puck. But anyway, it's on cooldown for at least a little while. A little bit of help from the Wildkin Ripper to try and keep the tier 1 up under this pressure. And I think they're doing a decent job of keeping this tower up. It is at half health now. But the bad news is that PA is continuing to just farm away, and she's now on top. I mean, Gyro's right in that same range. But Gyro, depending on how he builds, hold on. And call down, going to guarantee a kill there. Did cost them the full call down, but they should get the tower off of that as well. I'm a little surprised that Chen isn't coming out already to try and get a return on the tier 1 top, especially as you had mentioned, the fact there's a keeper on the other side. Usually you want to get some work done.
Yeah, anytime you're against a keeper, it's just... And they actually have good heroes for killing the Starks here early, as we've seen them die twice already from being out of position. They can just force the issue on them a little bit. But Chen really should have taken this top tower by now. I know he wanted to farm up his mech, he just finished it, but they really could have gotten that tower. And now it's going to be a bit harder for them to do.
Speaking of farm, poor Mihawk is not having a good game. Just level 4 right now. He's sitting down near the bottom in CS as well at just 15. He's the lowest level on the entire map. Certainly not a situation you want to have your lone druid in, and especially whenever you've drafted a lineup that is really, really predicated on being able to push early. Now, not to say that Chen gets bad at any phase of the game. I mean, Hand of God's always excellent. That plus mech is certainly going to be good no matter what stage of the game you happen to be in. But really, his wheelhouse is between that 15 and 25-minute mark. That's when he can really, just as you use, brute force and overpower the enemy team. And that lone druid being a bit behind, well, bits being kind, being way behind, even with Magnus's Empower to help him out and so on and so forth, all of a sudden, this is a lot of pressure that's going to be on this Phantom Assassin to make up for that.
Yep. And one thing I wanted to touch on is he's using his Dominated Creep. He did pick up a Centaur. He's trying to stack Ancients with it. So there's two options, really, when you do that. You can either give Chen control of your creep, he can use it in his army and have 4 creeps, or you can try to stack with it. The supports of Denial, Ush saw that he had a Dominator, instantly ran over, placed a sentry to block stacking on that Ancient camp. So his Centaur is pretty much doing nothing for him right now.
Yep. Circled it just a minute ago. Go ahead and make it even more clear. Draw an X on it. Not going to stack. That's a sad Centaur. unable to do his job. Just trying to make a dollar. 1-2 right now. Denial trailing Artyk. Level 10, the highest on the board. Phantom Assassin off to a phenomenal start. Gyro's actually a couple of levels behind as he's had more supports hanging out in lane with him. Now we're going to see Smash with RP fresh off cooldown. Rear his horn at Guanzo, force the surge away. He does have a haste rune that he popped as well. I think, yeah. So, gonna go looking for a target. Now, RCP has very little mana. Would be a very nice target if he could find him. But, doesn't look like he's gonna have a chance to. RCP gonna go ahead. He pre-rune top. The Bear's gonna spot out the rune in bottom. And, yeah, looks like he's just gonna play very, very safe, playing on his own side of the river.
I'm surprised that this bear isn't going back into the dire jungle. They're leaving the entire jungle to Chen, and what they could do is just split it up. Let Bear take a couple camps, Chen take a couple camps. That way this Bear can get something.
Right.
Instead, they're just sacrificing him completely.
And once again, another pause. Well, we're running out of stuff to plug, man. How about we just plug the ADL again? Make sure you, if you can, guys, understand money's tight no matter where you happen to live. But this is a brand new endeavor from a guy named Sean that is really, he's got a vision. He's trying to do something great for the scene, trying to make this tournament a mainstay in the entire competitive environment. You just being here on stream is enough, but if you really want to go that extra mile and help support as well as enjoy true 1080p access to ADL matches on demand anytime you want, pick up the in-game ADL ticket. I'm not sure the exact price. I know it's not super expensive, though. You're going to get a lot of content out of it. You're talking an 8-team round robin leading to playoffs, so it's certainly going to be a lot of Dota. It's featuring not just a lot of teams that maybe you're getting to know, like Denial and Artyk, but features 3 of the best teams on the planet, and Evil Genius's team, Liquid, and Dignitas, so you're going to get quality Dota. At some point, we're going to see some big upset, too, and certainly you want to be in-game watching live when that upset does take place, and not just for me. I mean, my check's already written. Full disclosure, my money's earned, so I'm not pushing it because I want more money. I'm pushing it because I believe in this tournament. I feel like Sean is doing a phenomenal job he did a great job getting it organized, making sure the field was not just with unknown talent, but with established talent as well. And a lot of that money coming mostly out of his back pocket. So if you want to see this continue, guys, again, just being here on the free stream certainly helps. But if you want to go that extra mile and you want true 1080 access to these games anytime you want, live on demand, you name it, the in-game ticket, the way to go. Artyk smoked up. Moving now towards this bottom lane. Magnus does not have his blink yet. He's about 800 gold away from it. However, spotted out. There's Eosin under cover of his recently bought Shadow Blade. There's Ush. Going to be eating a lot of damage. Nightmares himself. The skewer does miss. However, not going to do much but delay the inevitable. So we see that the Gyro, and I kind of was thinking along that. That's why I posed the question to you. I mean, in a game like this, anticipating fighting much earlier on, Shadow Blade seemed like a viable choice. The BKB, I agree, is essential, but with the Magnus on the other team, the magic damage output from Artyk really isn't all that great. I mean, they have Shockwave, and then what? I mean, other than that, just having the ability to do a bit more damage, and since RP goes through BKB anyway, I think I completely can get behind this decision from Eosin.
And Eosin's running up the top right now. He's going to get Iron Shield and Surged and run straight in looking for the PA. Unfortunately, he's not going to find anything. He is playing the Shadow Blade build correctly, and that he's running around and looking for kills right now, and he's actually going in on the PA.
And he's going to be able to get her. Oh, wow, never mind. Creep wave at the right time. There was a chin heal as well. There's a disruption to disrupt Eosin. Funny how that works out, right? But does a bit of damage, forces her off a farm, but now has prompted a big reaction. Artyk moving as 4 up to that top lane. That frees up the map for Mihawk. Certainly something he could desperately need at this stage. Still sitting at the bottom, level 6. And looks like, okay, that was just an observer. Never mind. And Magnus going to skewer his way through the coil. But in terms of CS, PA has really opened herself up a lead right now, and with Gyro coming off a farm to do stuff like move around a gank, means he's going to have to get real effective real fast, especially given how quickly Artyk is going to be ready to fight as 5, even with the Lone Druid being weak. Almost a Blink Dagger now on Smash.
And Puck's also just got his Blink Dagger flying out to him, so this is where we're looking for engagements to start happening a lot.
Eosin settling down a bit more now. Going to try to find himself some farm. Finally, again, Mihawk trying to get a little bit of farming done. He's still near the bottom. He's got the same amount of farm as the Keeper of the Light, way less than the Darkseer. And look at Neo. He's picked himself up a Mithril Hammer. So we'll see if that's going to be the BKB coming out or if he's going to show us something goofy like a Desolator. Either way, we'll take our first look at the gold graph at 15 minutes in. Still a very close game. Less than 1,000 gold separating the squads. Less than 3,000 experience. And a smoke from Artyk as they try to make something happen. They're going to try to bait a fight here in mid. Smash showing his face to Puck. Puck playing far back. He's got support behind him in Chim and Oosh, the Bane and the Keeper of the Light. They're going to go ahead and bypass mid, though, and actually make their way to bottom. They're going hunting for a gyrocopter is what they're doing. No, they're going to sneak a Roche is what they're doing.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Not a bad play at all. Getting an early Aegis on this PA, that's going to let him do whatever he wants in these team fights, despite not having his BKB just yet. And I highly, highly doubt that he's going to be going for a Desolator, considering he already has Helm the Dominator. So he's just going to be going for that BKB.
Totally agree. Totally agree. That's why I said it would be a goofy choice. But still, got to put it on the board. That way if it comes out, be like, I mentioned it, man. I told you. I told you it was an option.
Important for Denial is they just got enough gold from Mech on their Darkseer.
Yep. PA's already hitting pretty damn hard. She's level 11, 2 points into coup de grace. That alone makes her lethal as hell. But with Empower, she's actually hitting for 170 damage. We're going to have our 15,000th pause of the game. That's okay, though. Just so long as the players all have good ping and we get good games, that's all I happen to care about. See, what else can we plug? I plugged the ADL. Can't plug pizza anymore. That's over. And,
we could just talk about other item pickups and what's going on in the game. As the game's starting up again, Chen's finally looking to get involved. They have their core items up now. They've got Mech, Blink Dagger on the Magnus. They've got PA that has an Aegis. That's all he really needs to be able to fight here. And Bear's got level 8, so he's got rank 4 Bear. He's got his ultimate. He's able to actually survive through a team fight now instead of just being food.
They're going to go
They're
ahead
looking to force the issue and take towers.
They're going to go ahead and hook up and start to push. And top tier 1 will drop to Denial. They're going to teleport to mid. This tower is slowly but surely dropping. That Bear not hitting quite as hard as he would like. Has made okay progress now, however.
Yeah, the Bear has an armlet now.
Yep, just finished it. So they're going to push on through. And actually, no, they're going to TP and look to take a fight in mid. This tower, they do have the glyph if they want to use it. And the creep wave will be melted. Let's see if Mag wants to engage. There's the glyph. That's Shadow Demon and Mag that are back there. And they're going to go ahead and pursue this out. They're going to try to cut him off through the jungle. Here comes Chen, and there's going to be the Demonic Purge. There's the RP. Caught only one, though. Coil's going to catch 2 in return. There's the silence, and their bone. Never mind. Chenil gets it back up and running. Very nice vacuum. Right back into the call down. The Aegis is popped, and here he comes once again. Going to look to blink immediately and able to do so. But rushed into that fight, Magnus unable to connect with more than a single target on his reverse polarity. And the great counter initiation out of Puck, silencing them out. Again, the strength of Gyro and Darkseer as a combination showing itself. And a great win there for Denial. They make it 3-3. Now Mihawk's in trouble. He's spotted out in the river. He's down. Yep, he's got a homing missile on the way to him. He's got teammates kind of moving in that direction, but nonetheless, he's going to drop before any help can arrive. Make it 4-3. Denial getting that gold graph moving north again. In fact, it crosses the meridian and is back in their favor. The experience cut more than in half.
That felt like a really, really awkwardly forced fight coming out from Artyk. The Magnus didn't have to try and force the RP there. He could have just waited. They did have that Aegis on PA, as he's actually getting caught with a sleep and illuminate middle lane.
Able
to harass him down a little bit and force him back to the fountain. He did finally get enough gold for his BKB, though. So we'll have that going to next fight. But yeah, like, the PA overextended. He got hit with a Fiend's Grip, so there goes the Aegis. And Magnus solo RP'd the Bane. He was trying to get the Bane in Puck, but Puck just... He was purged. He wasn't moving as fast as the Magnus thought he would.
Taking a look at Puck. 1,700 gold in the bank. He's making some decent progress in terms of items. Would imagine looking at the team he's up against would be quite nice to get a sheepstick up if he could, just to take PA out of the equation at least temporarily. She will have her BKB, does have her BKB as it is completed and now in her inventory. So very nice build coming out from EO. I really like the way EO has played this. He has been willing to engage whenever the fight comes to him, but for the most part, he hasn't overcommitted. He's just been able to find his farm. Sitting at 133 last hits. He's on top. And in terms of net worth, now just about 1,000 gold ahead of the Gyrocopter as well. However, 2 of the top 3 farmers belong to Denial as Puck got the best of Mag there in mid.
Gyrocopter just picked up a Dominator and also finished a Bracer, so kind of confused if he's going to get a drum now. That would be a little awkward getting a drum this late in the game. Getting that Dominator shows me that he just wants to play a farming game. He doesn't want to go for a BKB and look to fight all the time.
I think the Bracer pickup might have just been I've got the circlet, and instead of dropping it or selling it, how about I just go ahead and make, spend a couple hundred gold and make it even better, and just keep it around until later on. For now, speaking of getting better, a lot of heroes soaking up some experience and gold here, and that the strength of Empower showing itself. That's so much gold going into PA's inventory. That's going to be that's going to be well in excess of 1,000 actually by the time she drops the last of these big creeps. And having the BKB, having the helm, that's good armor, good magic damage survivability. I mean, again, when you look at the other side, a lot of magic damage coming out, especially from the Gyrocopter and the Bane in terms of single target, to say nothing of Illuminate in terms of AoE. So the BKB, not just important to keep her alive and safe from immobilization, but mitigating some good damage, now feeling survivable with the Helm of the Dom, and another 1,500 gold in her bank. Just really well played so far. And I like how patient Artyk is playing. I really thought they would be pushing a lot more recklessly, for lack of a better word to put it, just because of the draft they had. But knowing the Lone Druid's not as strong as they would like, they're playing it back, and they're playing it very patient and very, very stable. And they've gotten themselves a lead because of it.
They're right to be afraid of Denial's teamfight, but at the same time, Denial is a little bit afraid to push on their own.
Yep.
Because of Magnus being on the other team. So we've kind of come to this like farming stalemate type of game where both teams feel comfortable playing late game.
Yep.
And just don't want to fight right now.
Go ahead.
Going over to the warning of the Ancients that Denial did earlier, they dropped one sentry that lasted for 3 minutes. They didn't go back and ward it again, though, as Guanzo's getting caught out on top by Chen.
Guanzo has been a bit of a liability. Vacuum buys a little time, but Stifling Dagger right into the back. Gets the kill. TP's top. Couple were canceled there. Darkseer makes it 4-4. We're all tied back up. And taking a look at the bear again, we saw that he had his armlet done. He's actually engaging into Eosin and manages to TP away right in his face. The homing missile unable to connect fast enough. Eosin's got 1,400 gold in the bank right now. Would imagine BKB would be his next choice. Has yet to pick up the Ogre Club though. So I mean, he may just be going an Owie approach, like the way Owie tends to build Gyro is just to say the hell with it and just go damage.
Yeah, but there's that threat of a skewer coming out.
Yep.
And if you get RP'd and skewered into the entire enemy team, you're just gonna get melted in a terrible spot.
Top tier 1 drops. PA takes the last hit. Let's see. They move out. Doesn't look like they're too concerned with counter initiation. Probably to their benefit, as their main damage dealer was nowhere near the fight. Eosin continuing to, as you said, just find his farm. Looks like he did spend his gold, and he picked up a Mithril Hammer. So probably on his way to a BKB as well. Starting to see more players do that. I guess it all comes down to preference. Not the biggest deal in the world. Get the Mithril Hammer instead of the Ogre Club.
Yep, it's a little extra damage to help him farm faster versus HP to survive.
Right.
Right now the PA has 3,400 gold, and he just picked up a Basher. I was just about to say, I hope he goes for a Basher. With that extra attack speed you get after using Phantom Strike,
Yep.
you are pretty much almost guaranteed to get a bash off.
Yep.
His team is also lacking disables in a very, very big way this game. Their only true disable is going to be Magnus' ultimate.
Speaking of the Magnus, he's picked himself up an Ogre Club, so he'll be grabbing a BKB. Ultimanor, the pickup for RCP on our puck, so 99 times out of 100, that'll be on its way to a Scythe of Vice. Very important item for them, really. If they're going to have any chance in terms of being able to take these fights. I mean, the Puck's initiation range in particular, but his AoE potential is grand. But if he's able to Scythe of Ice the PA and they're able to blow her up, the damage potential on Artyk, especially with the Lone Druid trailing behind, is just going to fall off to nothing in the mid-game. So you can actually see, yeah, he's going to drop the coil. And waiting on some help, threw out the orb, tried to John away. Now, call down is going to be there. Eosin doing good damage. Very nice vacuum right back into the wall. Mech going to be used to get him away, but now Artyk looking to re-engage. A little bit of damage done by the PA. She's going to try to retreat. RP spit, got 3. Very well done by Smash. Baited it out. And Hand of God gets them up and in great position to help clean this fight out. The Gyro's going to drop. Darkseer's already bought back. But by the time he gets here, it's just not going to matter. And yeah, he couldn't even be TP'd. RCP will manage to escape. But the Darkseer bought back with the Keeper of the Light having his ult on cooldown. So he would have had to, oh wow, actually manages to get the gem with one last auto attack, so a little bit of counter push. But at the end of the fight, comes out just about even, really. And in fact, I mean, other than the buyback, you could say Denial did a pretty good job there.
Ooh, and it's really interesting. The PA actually sold back his bash he didn't have at that fight. Maybe he second guessed his thought or item progression. Maybe wants to go for an MKB instead here.
Yep.
But that was a really just awkward fight overall. At the end, the PA saw an orb flying at him, still got hit by it. The Chen was sitting still while microing his centaur, and Puck just blinked at him and killed him as well with a silence and an auto attack.
Top tier 2 down to half health. They're going to try to take it. Smash has his ulti on cooldown. It will be warded off, and they may pursue this. Everyone's there. The whole gang's present. There's the ethereal jaunt, and they're continuing to move out, looking for a target. RCP the closest one, but it is a Puck. He does blink away, so don't know they'll be able to catch him, and Chen actually decided to hang back. Speaking of the Chen, picked up a set of drums, so helping his team out any way he possibly can. Back to the Druid. Just the armlet, but the gold, yeah, he's got 2,600 gold. So in terms of Basher, maybe, you know, wanting to go that direction as well. Maybe that's why we saw the PA sell hers back, just saying, you know what, you get the Basher, I'm going to go straight up damage with the MKB and guarantee that if the gyro gets a butterfly, it's not going to matter.
And Spirit Bear just picked up a Hypersense, who's actually going straight for an AC. Yep. It feels like the better choice here before Basher. I think he should still get a Basher later on, though.
They're going to engage. There we go. Very nice. Oh, actually, the coil only got one, and they're going to re-engage. Doing good damage to Yosin. Nice Fiend's Grip. There's the wall and vacuum again. However, Chen able to get their gloves back up with a Hand of God. Just heard the RP. Only caught a couple. No follow-up as he's very low health. Brain sapped to death. Lone Druid pursuing it out. There is the Bane being brought down. And they're going to continue to clean this up. Guanzo gets rooted down. Surge, but oh, nice blinding light from XAXA. Or Jaja, maybe if that's how that's pronounced. That may almost have saved that Darkseer as he will be pursued YOLO style. In the meantime, still a little bit of shenanigans going on, and wow, PA actually managed to just clean up the entire rest of the team, chasing down both the Keeper and the Darkseer. That's going to make it 10-8. 18 kills in 27 minutes. Looks like they want to take a tier 2. Puck's the only one still standing, but no coil, not much of anything.
That fight just showed the power of PA and why he's becoming a rising pick. Still kind of a niche pick, but he's been rising because of his mobility. He just went from hero to hero, getting a bash off, getting a crit, getting a kill, then going to the next hero and the next, and so on and so forth. And now they're going to look to turn, take another Roshan.
Roche going to be the target. Denial not in any position to challenge right now. And yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to have the chance to do so. So the Basher did make its way back into his inventory. But 2,600 gold in the bank now, and AC on the way from the Lone Druid. Things looking quite good, even again having those drums. And Masuko may just go straight for a Vlad's now if he can save the gold.
Immortality.
It definitely looks like he's going for Vlad's. And he should have that up fairly soon if they can take another tower. Or just farm up in these woods. Well, some pretty aggressive warding coming out of Artyk, showing that they want to be playing aggressive with this Aegis. These are fresh wards that are placed, and giving pretty good vision into Denial's jungle, and just their movement across the map as well. So like this ward mid can definitely spot out a potential smoke that could be coming, if Denial was looking to do that. But Denial is just really looking to get this BKB done, which they just did on Gyrocopter, and farm up a damage item on him. He went for a bunch of smaller items this game, in getting a Basilius to help push. Then he picked up that random Bracer. He also picked up a Helmet Dominator to stack Ancients with. So he got all these small items, but he doesn't have any big damage items. Like you look for a Butterfly or an MKB in this scenario.
And the coil dropped on Ewo. He is going to be silenced. Now they're going to engage BKB. Pop, nice Fiend's Grip though, right point blank. Smashes their RPs and caught 4. Caught every bit of Denial. Chen heals him with Hand of God. There's another good vacuum wall, though. This is going to be another one of those weird spread out fights. PA gets nightmared after cleaning up the Gyrocopter. Guanzo is going to be trying to go head-to-head and can't do so. Chen's there to help clean up with Test of Faith. And now another big jump, big coup de grace. RCP now going to be rooted after the ethereal John phase shifts to buy himself some time. They're waiting on him. The blink comes off cooldown in the meantime, but the damage is already done, and never mind. Yep, that's a gravesite, and that's a very sad puck with a frowny face. As they take the tier 2, they force the buyback out of the puck. That buyback out of puck may be the defining moment, by the way. He had enough for a Mystic Staff in terms of gold. Already has the Ultimate Orb up, was really, really close to having a Scythe of Ice. Now buying back for really no reason, because he's not going to, I mean, the rest of his team was going to be back up for the most part anyway. And Artyk takes a big win, and it doesn't even cost him an Aegis.
PA is just such an absolute tear in the mid game before you can get a Scythe of Ice up.
Yep.
Your supports can't really do much damage to him at all with auto attacks. No one on your team can do much damage to him with an auto attack, especially when you don't have an MKB up. And he's got that BKB during Fiend's Grip and during all of their magic damage, so he's fine this whole game to do whatever he wants. And he's showing he's taking control. And that last fight was kind of ridiculous. I mean, blink to someone either first hit bash or first hit crit them, and they just die.
Yep, and it was...
he even looked to take this ancient stack.
And Eosin gonna pop his BKB. Here they come. There's gonna be a call down. And he's just gonna go for it. There's the slow from the Shadow Demons, silenced out, BKB up, and yeah, Fiend's Grip actually almost bails them out. RP will be spent, and vacuum right in. It cost them the Aegis, but they managed to bring 3 more down. Guanzo's gonna make it 4 as he drops next. The other 2, or the other 1, I should say, Oosh, making a run for it. They're gonna go ahead and take this last outer tier tower. Nope, never mind. Creeps aren't closed. They can just rotate back down to mid, though, and look to take themselves a Rax. Smash had a couple of questionable RPs, but he's played well down the stretch, getting the job done. I want to go ahead and give this guy a little bit of applause. He's had some good Fiend's Grips, about as well as he could, all things considered, and bailed some people out. Unfortunately, looks like Artyk just about to put Game 1 in the books.
I mean, that was... What was Eosin thinking there? He saw that PA was doing the Ancients. He knows that PA has an Abyssal Blade. Your BKB doesn't do anything against an Abyssal Blade. You gotta get out of there. It sucks to get your Ancient stack stolen, but taking a fight there and losing a rack sucks even more. I think that just put the nail in the coffin for denial.
Yep. I don't know how they can even come out and fight now. I mean, RP's on cooldown, but despite that, I don't know that it matters. PA, the Bear will get the last hit on the tower. They will Nightmare it. There's a vacuum back. They want to try to fight. And looks like Artyk is not that adverse to it. Obviously, they'd like to wait on RP if they can. Don't know they'll have to wait long. Yeah, it's just about 30 seconds now, so I doubt they'll be abandoning the siege. Mech gets them healed back up, and the rest of Denial just forced to sit back in the base. And let's see, if they might just pull back. I mean, the Aegis is popped. Roche still has about 5 minutes, and they are going to withdraw, at least for the moment.
One thing that I want to say that Eosin, I know he's going to learn from this game a lot in playing against the PA. He didn't really get too much use out of this Shadow Blade. The next time he plays against a PA, he's going to look at that, be like, Shadow Blade not the best choice. I really need to get that MKB up so I can contribute to team fights.
Right.
Instead of just being more or less just worthless on Gyrocopter.
8-19, 27 kills in a 33-minute game, the vast majority of which belong to the Peruvian squad of Artyk. My first time getting to broadcast them, and looking pretty good. I mean, all things considered. I'm really anxious to see these teams tested, not just against each other, but against true top-tier competition in Team Liquid, Dignitas, and Evil Geniuses. And the smoke was popped out, so they know what's going on. But yeah, now with Magnus having RP off cooldown, has his BKB, don't think they're going to worry too much about pushing in. PA with her Abyssal. Looks like she's got another item on the way to her. Yeah, she's just, Satanic on the way now. And good luck killing the PA.
And Cuddle's trying his absolute best here to just spam out these waves to just kind of deny Artyk and make them a little bit afraid to push. But like I said, Chen plus Syllabear, they've got really good brute force push. And they're just going to go in.
They're chunking away at the racks. And... there's the blinding light. BKBs are up. Fiend's Grip's going to be there. Good vacuum brings him back into the call down, doing good damage as an RP. However, not a whole lot caught with it. Eosin going to be eating the majority of the damage. Blinked upon and cleaned up. That's going to be 3 down as a Darkseer dies behind us. A GG comes out. So in the opening game of the ADL, The first of what is going to be many for Season 1 and what we hope will be the first of many seasons. Artyk makes their debut with a big W, 23-9. The final gold, 15,000 in their favor. The experience around 20,000. Very solid win for the Peruvians here, Robert.
Yep, solid win. This is a strategy that it looked like they practiced it. They were slow getting out of the gate in the early game, but they knew that they needed to get their core items up. And they just did that, then just steamrolled. They had one bad fight in the mid game, but after that, everything else just went their way. Smash played great with his reverse polarities after the one questionable one he had, which he did note earlier. Just everyone did their job. Chen played a big role in just being with PA somehow to get those mechs off, to keep him alive in the fights.
Once again, want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of our inaugural broadcast here on the ADL. Artyk gets the best of the Nile. 35 minutes, 28 seconds, the official game time, 23-9. The final kill score all on the back of a standout performance from Phantom Assassin handled by Iwo. Chen played quite a good game, and I feel like the Druid did a real good job playing his way back from behind as well. Smash, who again had a couple of questionable plays here and there, nonetheless, got it together and landed some big RPs when it mattered the most. Hang with us, guys. We'll be right back with our second game of the day. Got 2 more left. Robert going to be departing, and as he does, he'll be getting back into the chair, ready to take on Artyk in our second match as he plays the support role for EG. Once again, want to thank you for being a part of the broadcast. Beat go ahead and drop the Twitter address and all that stuff.
Well, first, before that, I want to say that I fully expect Denial to bounce back from this. I think a big part of their loss in this game was just inexperience, mainly against PA as a hero, and just against this kind of 5-man Dota style that Artyk was playing. They're a team with some really good individual skill, and I expect them to bounce back. Other than that, you can follow me on Twitter over at @BeatasDota, and on Twitch you can watch me stream at /Beatas.
There you go. Once again, Beatas jumping away for a bit, but this time he's going to play. He'll be back to broadcast the third game of the night as well. I'm here in AC Chambers, and you're tuned in to the American Dota League. Make sure you stick with us, guys. Game 2 of the day. Artyk taking on Evil Geniuses coming up next.